Hey, my name is Dubaji. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're trying something way different. We're attempting Pokemon Emerald only using Stall. These are the Pokemon we're going to be using in the challenge, and essentially the rules are we can only beat Pokemon using Stall. That includes set damaging moves, such as Nightshade, Seismic Toss, moves like that, and other moves like Toxic, Leech Seed, and Hazards. That's pretty much it. Now, the way that we're going to play is maybe kind of confusing, so I'm going to explain it the best way I can. So I went on Smogon to find the best Stall team that people were using in Generation 3, and we took all the moves that do damage off and replaced them with their nearest replacement, basically. So we're going to be using Skarmory, Dusclops, Vaporeon, Blissey, Melodic, and Celebi. Let me know down below in the comments if you think instead of me just having a set team for the run, I should just have my starter Pokemon to be able to stall, and I catch Pokemon and train them to be able to stall. Let me know down below. So we start the game by naming ourselves Hazard, because we're definitely going to be using a lot of hazards in this game. We jump out the van, and we're starting with one of the most infamous, annoying stall Pokemon ever to be created. We have Hate Me, the Skarmory. We started with Toxic, Spikes, Whirlwind, and Rest. But we're only using the same amount of Pokemon as the gym leaders. I'll let you guys know when I add Pokemon to my team. But now it's time for our first battle with May. And we start with Hate Me. And we're going to win with Stall. So we use Toxic on Trico. We immediately use Rest to waste some turns, and we just repeat that until Trico is stalled out. I know this challenge is very weird, but trust me, these battles get very intense and interesting. Here's the rest of our team. We're just gonna have them in our box for now, but that's how most of the battles are gonna go. We're just gonna be using Stall to beat all the Pokemon that we're going against. But we just stall out the rest of the Pokemon on the route, make it to our dad, witness Wally catch his first Pokemon, make it to Petalburg Woods, and we have our first Team Aqua battle. Poochyena comes out, we land a Toxic on him, and just waste the turns until he gets knocked out. But this right here is why I chose to do stall only, the double battles. But in this battle, we just spam Toxic on Seedot and Lotoid. It wasn't really that interesting, so I'm gonna make sure to make an effort to only go over the most interesting battles for the sake of entertainment. Now, it's time to fight Roxanne. We start with Skarmory on our Geodude, we miss our first Toxic, take a Rock Throw, but then we land it the next turn. They lower my speed with Rock Tomb, but then we start setting up spikes. As we take another Rock Tomb, we get dropped to half, then we start using Rest. And sooner or later, we start spamming Whirlwind, land Toxic on all of our Pokemon, and just like that, we beat Roxanne. We help this dude that got robbed again, and help this old man get his bird back. We meet Mr. Stone, talk to the scientist, sell to Dewford, give this letter to Steven, then we take on Brawley. Machop comes out on our Hate Me, we land a Toxic and get spikes up, while Machop drops us down to 16 HP. We rest, they use a super potion, we use Whirlwind before Machop gets taken out, and Makuhita comes out. Take spike damage, and we land a Toxic on him as they bulk up. But we just use Whirlwind again, take out his Machop with spikes, and Meditate comes out. As we Toxic, we try to stall Meditate, but we get taken out with a Focus Punch. Now we only have Hurt and Not Over left. We send out Hurt, and fortunately, it goes down. Then, for Makuhita, we stall it out with Vaporeon and win the battle. We make it to Slateport, go to the museum, beat this Team Aqua Grunt that was in our way. Then on our way to the next town, we fight May. She starts with her Wingull. We Toxic with Hate Me and spam spikes. She confused me with Water Pulse as we take it down. Slugma comes out as we Toxic, and we stall Rest over and over until it's knocked out. Then Grovyle comes out as we land a Toxic and spam Rest until we win. We finally make it to Mavile so we can take on Watson. We start with Hurt, take a Shockwave as we Toxic spam and Nightshade to take out Electrode. Pain Split Electrike as we knock him out with Toxic and Nightshade and survive with 17 HP. Magneton comes out. We survive with 5 HP from their Shockwave. We Pain Split, but if we lose Hurt, we'll lose the battle because we can't Toxic Steel type Pokemon. So we have to use Nightshade in order to take it out, but it uses a potion. As it Shockwaves and almost takes me out again, I keep spamming Pain Split. Almost take it out again. Watson uses a super potion. We only have 12 HP. If we faint, we lose the battle. But But we get super lucky and survive on 1 HP as we're able to get the pain split off again and take them down to 30%. And just like that, finally we're able to Nightshade for the kill. Manectric comes out now, and my last 2 Pokemon are weak, and he's faster than me, so we try to get the Toxic off. As it howls, we immediately get paralyzed and we take a Shockwave, get knocked down to 17, but we spam rest. But now we're asleep, we can attack. We take 1 more Shockwave, and the next turn we're knocked out. We only have Not Over. That's weak to electric, and Hurt is only on 5 HP. Not only that, it uses a Citrus Berry. We need to stall out Manectric in order to win this battle. We take a Shockwave and get knocked down to 19 HP. But we wish, so we'll be able to heal next turn. We use Protect, and Manectric then goes down the very next turn for the 3rd badge. And yeah, that was a close one for sure, but we got it done. After that, we leave, we'll loop around the whole entire map so we can get to the lifts, take out a Team Magma at the top of this mountain, a bunch of double battles that were very tedious, but we won eventually. We scale down the mountain and make it to Lava Ridge Town to take on Flannery. We start with Hate Me and land Toxic as we get taken out with Overheat. We switch to Hurt as we take a Magnitude 10 and get taken down to 13 HP. We spam Protect the very next turn, but she uses a Super Potion, and now we have to hang on. Fortunately, she uses Overheat on me, but she's -4 right now. And Dusclops has good special defense, so we're able to get the pain split off. Numel then goes down as Slugma comes out. We Toxic it and take him down as we get poisoned back by his Smog. Camera Up comes out, and she uses Attract, but we're able to get the Toxic off on her, and Overheat obliterates me. We then use the start and Seismic Toss her Camera Up, and finally get the kill. Now Torkoal comes out. We Toxic and Seismic Toss, but almost get knocked out by a Body Slam as we soft boil. Then she uses a potion. Eventually Torkoal goes down and we're able to get the 4th badge. Now we have to double back to Petalburg City to take on our dad. After a long total of 150 turns just to get to our dad, yes, I cut all that out because that was going to be hell if I showed you guys the battles. We finally make it to our dad, so now it's time to take on the 5th gym. We start with the start, get a Toxic off, and Seismic Toss as Spinda facades my Blissey, but we live on 30 HP, but Spinda goes down to Toxic. Slack King then comes out, we send out Skarmory and Toxic. We take one of his moves, stall, rest over and over and over, they use a potion, and eventually we're able to stall out his Slack King because he only has half the turns because of his Truant ability. Now Vigoroth comes out. We Whirlwind and Toxic is Lanoon, and we stall out all of his Pokemon by spamming Whirlwind, getting Toxic damage and spikes on all of his Pokemon. But eventually his Vigoroth takes me out. Hurt comes out, we Toxic Vigoroth, it goes down, and Lanoon goes down to his Spike right after that, gaining us the 5th badge. And our dad is very surprised that we beat him, considering the fact that we only got our Pokemon a couple hours ago. Anyways, we make it to this laboratory, save these scientists, and right after that, we have to take on May again. She starts with Slugma, so we Toxic her, switch to Skarmory, set up spikes, take out her Slugma, Toxic her Lumbre, and then start using Whirlwind so I can Toxic her whole team for the win. Pretty easy. We make it to Fortree City, go through the forest, go on this bridge to talk to Steven so he can give us a scope. We go back to Fortree City so we can take on the 6th gym. We then have to do a bunch of double battles that were very tedious, like I said before, and they had 6 Pokemon. But we just used the start and Hurt and spam Seismic Toss and Nightshade on all of their teams and took them out for a very long win. This battle that you're seeing right here took 70 turns, so yeah. Anyways, we take on Weona. We start with the start on Swablu and Toxic, but she uses Safeguard, which is definitely a hassle. Then she uses Perish Song on us, but we take her out with Seismic Toss. Tropius comes out and we try to Toxic, but we kept missing. Eventually we had to sack Blissey because I didn't want to switch my Pokemon out on her Solar Beam because Tropius does a lot of damage. We swap to Hurts, finally get the Toxic off, and Nightshade as she Hyper Potions. We just keep spamming Pain Split and Protect for the kill. On our Pelipper, we Toxic, take a Water Gun, get Spikes up with Hate Me, get confused, but finally able to get the rest off as Pelipper goes down. We Whirlwind, then Altaria comes out and uses Dragon Dance as we get the Toxic off, Wish, and Protect with our Vaporeon. Trying to stall that out, but it's just hitting way too hard. But eventually, she died. Now her Skarmory is the only Pokemon that's left. We Wish with Not Over and swap to Hurt, and we have no choice but to spam Nightshade and take out her Steel type Pokemon. but she kept using sand attacks, so we had to swap Wish and swap again to hurt, but eventually we take her out for the 6th badge. That battle was so long, but we witnessed these old people get robbed and they tell us to go to this mountain. We go to the mountain, we fight Maxie, win, go to Slateport, witness Archie rob the submarine. We go to his hideout, get that done, and finally we're able to take on the 7th badge, the twins. We now have the Pain on our team, but we start with the start in the Pain. We keep trying to use Toxic, but we keep getting hacks, but eventually we're able to land a Toxic on both of her Pokemon. Hurts almost gets taken out as we protect and heal Bell because the Synchronize on our Pokemon toxics us, but eventually we get taken out. Because they do a lot of damage, we're forced to spam Recover and Rest, and Leech Seed trying to hang on while her Claydol and Xatu is getting chipped down. They use a bunch of potions, but we're eventually able to take down Claydol and toxic her Soul Rock that comes out. But Xatu hangs on, gets held up by the twins, but eventually we finally take out Xatu and Lunatone comes out. We toxic them, and now we just have to hang on. But our Skarmory goes down to a flamethrower, and we have to send out Death. Now we're stalling with Leech Seed, Rest, Heal Bell, and spamming Rest again in order to hang on to take out Solrock and Lunatone, but eventually we finally take them out for the 7th badge. We meet up with Steven to fight Maxie. We just spam Toxic as Steven takes out most of the Pokemon. We win the battle, then Steven invites us to his house. He gives us Dive, so we're able to go to Archie's hideout, solve these complicated puzzles, then we take on Archie, but he was a pushover. My Pokemon were just too bulky for him to do anything to me, but it doesn't matter, disaster strikes anyways. And we have Groudon and Kyogre box it. We have to go get Rayquaza to calm things down, then everything goes back to normal. We then take on the 8th gym, and this battle was so long, but it's okay. We toxic Luvdisc, take it out after he uses 2 Hyper Potions. Wishcash then comes out as we try to soft boil, but he's just too strong and he takes us out. We toxic with Hate Me as he amnesias, and we spam spikes. And eventually we get confused and we're not able to use any moves. We keep trying to rest until we got to 22 HP and we finally break through at the last moment and Cilio comes out. But a rain boosted Water Pulse takes us out. The Pain comes out and we try stalling Cilio as it uses Aurora Beam and almost takes us out as we get the Toxic off. And eventually we take it out. So we swapped to Not Over and we had to make Kingdra struggle because its Rest and Double Team made it unable for us to effectively hit him. But because he has Rest, I was unable to just kill him by stalling his Pokemon. Eventually we roar him and Crawdon comes out, and Crawdon just keeps spamming Taunt over and over again on my whole entire team, so I can't even use any moves on him. Eventually he doesn't use Taunt and we are able to get the Toxic off with Vaporeon. But then we just swap over and over and over again until he dies, and on the last turn he tries to use Taunt again, but we use Protect with Vaporeon. And Kingdra is out again. Now it's time to make Kingdra struggle. Because of his rest, every time he gets very low, he can just heal himself all the way up back to full HP and take his Toxic off. So the struggle battle begins. But after a total of 125 turns in this battle, we're able to finally make him struggle to death. And we finally get the 8th badge. We make our way to the Elite Four, but before that, we have to battle Wally. We toxic his Altaria, but he takes me out. We switch to Hate Me, get Spikes up again as he full restores. We then have the Toxic again. We rest and take out Altaria. Magneton comes out and we're not able to switch because of his magnet pool, so we had to sack. We switch to Blissey and take it out with the Seismic Toss. As Delcatty comes out, we Toxic Seismic Toss as it uses Safeguard, so we soft boil up and try to stall. We get paralyzed by an assist Thunderbolt, but we're able to take it out. We then switch to Not Over on Gardevoir, use Toxic, but because of Synchronize, we get Toxic back. We then switch to Blissey and get healed from Paralyzation because of Natural Cure, which is pretty awesome, and take down our Gardevoir for the win. Finally, we make it through this cave and make it to the Elite Four. For the first battle, we use Death and Toxic as they spam Sand Attack 4 times. We're forced to swap out on Hate Me, use Spikes, and get crunched 6 times in a row as my defense get dropped. But they use a full restore, so we have to use Toxic again. We spam rest over and over until it goes down. When Crawdaunt comes out, we use the Pain, the Toxic, and Leech Seeded. We recover and use Heal Bell to cure all the sleep on our team. Shiftry comes out. We use Death and Breakthrough Confusion to get a Toxic off. We use the Start, take all the special moves, but get confused. As we get taken out, we switch to Death. We use Toxic on it. We then swap to Not Over. We take a Needle Arm. We use Protect, swap to the Start, Soft Boil, and it heals again. And we use her to take it out with Nightshade. But we get knocked down to 19 HP. Absol then comes out as we're able to get the Toxic off with Blissey, but he does a lot of damage, so we're forced to spam Soft Boil until we take him out for the first win. For the next member, we'll have to do a lot of switching. We Toxic her Dusclops with Death. We swap to Hate Me, use Spikes until they're all up, use a full restore, then they curse me as we use Whirlwind and Toxic, but the curse is still active, taking me out, so we switch to Not Over. We Wish, take a Shadow Ball, and Roar. Trying to get Toxic off on her Bayonet, she almost takes me out with a Thunderbolt. We Roar and just stall the rest of her team. Finally taking her out with the Start, and this battle took 160 turns to complete. Anyways, on to the next member. We start with Toxic on Ursilio, getting Spikes up, healing up with Rest, and we get taken out when we switch to It Hurts by an Ice Ball, but she goes down. Next, Celio comes out. Use Blizzard, but we use Not Over to resist the hit, and we're able to Wish and Protect, and we Roar it out. Get a Toxic off on her Glalie, take some Shadow Balls, then she just uses Self-Destruct on Not Over. And that means our resisted Pokemon just died. Celio comes out, gets healed, and uses Double Edge on us. We swap, use Toxic again, and spam Rest with Death. Take her Double Edge, but Glalie comes out. We switch it to Start, but get taken out by an Ice Beam. Switch to Death, try to Rest again, and we finally take him out with Toxic. Death goes down by Warren, then all we have is the Pain left. We Leech Seed, take an Ice Beam, we recover, take an Ice Beam, almost die, but Warren then goes down the very next turn for the third member. And we only had one Pokemon left after that fight, but now it's time for the next member. Drake. We use Toxic to take out a Shelgon with Death. We use Toxic, we Toxic Altaria, and then we take it out with Death. Not Over Toxic's Kingdra as we Roar and Toxic the Flygon, but we have to switch as we Wish to Death to take it out. We switch to Hate Me as it goes down to Salamence by a Flamethrower, but we're able to get the Toxic off. So we switch to the Start and go down to a physical move immediately. We finally stall it and take it out, but all of my Pokemon are down to half HP in the process. And we lose Hurts to Kingdra as it full restores. We bait out a Water move from Kingdra as we try to get a Toxic off. And we Wish on 4 HP, but we're able to take out the Kingdra, and finally, we're able to get to the champion. We Toxic as well, Lord. Take a Double Edge, spam Toxic and Rest, and finally take him out. Ludicolo then comes out and double teams as we Rest. We use the Start, but he uses Leech Seed and he's able to heal all of the damage that we're dealing back. So we're forced to switch to the Pain and stall him out. Tentacruel then comes out as he Toxics us, but we're able to take him out with a Seismitoss. We Toxic Whiscash that comes out. We get hit by a Hyper Beam, but we're able to heal as Gyarados comes out. We use Hurt to Toxic it, but it goes down. Then it spams Dragon Dance as we have Not Over come out. It full restores, and now we're in trouble because he one-shots the Start. We swap to Death as it Hyper Beams, heals, takes me out, but then we're able to get the Toxic off again. And we use Heal Bell to wake our Pokemon up. As we go down to a Hyper Beam, we use Wish as it tries a Hyper Beam again, but it goes down to a Leech Seed and a Toxic. Melodic is left, they Toxic, we use Protect and Wish to stall it out. But we switch to Hate Me as it full restores, and we use Toxic again. We use Rest on Hate Me, we then switch to Not Over to absorb his Water move, and finally we stall out his Pokemon, and just like that, we learn it's possible to beat Pokemon Emerald only using Stall. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and go ahead and drop some suggestions in the comments. Here's another video.